The sun hung low over the Arizona-New Mexico borderlands, casting long shadows across the hardpan. Luke Carrion, a widowed cowboy, sat high on his wagon seat, one hand loose on the reins, the other resting on his thigh. His shirt clung damp from hours of cutting juniper, the planks stacked behind him meant to patch the lean-to before winter. His knee, still carrying old cavalry lead, ached with each jolt of the wagon. Calloused hands cracked from cold air and axe work, but he preferred the ache to the silence of his empty cabin, where memories of his wife, buried 2 winters ago, lingered. The mule plodded along the trail, Luke's thoughts on beans soaking at home and maybe coffee if any remained. He didn't need company, not anymore. Then he saw buzzards circling low over a ravine ahead. 3 of them, patient, not yet feeding. Luke slowed the wagon, squinting. It could be a dead steer or a drifter's bad luck, but he didn't like scavengers near his land. He set the brake, stepped down, boots crunching on dry earth. Wind carried grit against his face as he rounded the bend. The smell hit first, turned earth, hot from the sun. Then he saw it, a human head, half buried, hair matted, face sunburned red. He froze, unsure if she was alive. A shallow breath rasped through cracked lips. A woman, buried to her neck. A rough wooden sign hung around her throat, carved with unfamiliar letters. Luke didn't know the language but didn't need to. He knelt, digging with his fingers, then a flat rock, the packed dirt resisting. His shoulders burned, but he worked fast, panic rising. He'd dug battlefield graves, but this was different. Her breathing hitched as he freed her chest. Her eyes fluttered, skin so dry it looked painful. He freed her hips as the sun dipped behind the ridge, coyotes yipping in the distance. "Come on," he muttered, sliding his arms under her. She weighed nothing, her torn deerskin dress loose. Anger flared. At whoever left her like this. He carried her to the wagon, wrapped her in his oilcloth blanket, and laid her on the planks. "Save it," he said softly as her lips moved. "Just breathe." He snapped the reins, turning toward home under a purple sky. Buzzards settled on the ridge, cheated. Luke didn't look back. Darkness fell, the half-moon barely lighting the trail. Luke checked the bundle often, catching the faint rise and fall of her chest. She was alive, enough to keep him moving. His cabin appeared, 2 rooms against a ridge, lean-to out back, corral to the side. No smoke rose from the chimney. He carried her inside, laying her on the cot used since his wife's death. The air was cold. He lit the stove, stacked kindling, and set snow to melt in a kettle. Her lips were split, wrists raw from rawhide. He dipped a cloth in warm water, pressing it to her mouth. She flinched, alive, and took the dampness. "That's it," he murmured, coaxing her to swallow flour mixed with water. She managed a little before her eyes closed. Luke sat by the stove, questions crowding his mind. Who was she? Why buried? What did the sign say? He considered riding to town for a translation but worried someone might come for her. He wouldn't let that happen. The mule brayed outside. He fed it, then returned, sinking into the chair. The fire's orange glow lit her steady breathing. Sleep came late, his hand near the rifle by the door. Morning broke gray, frost on the ground. Luke stirred, stiff from the chair, and added wood to the fire. She breathed evenly, face turned to the wall, a good sign. He hauled water, his mind on her. When he returned, she was awake, eyes clearer but tired. They stared across the room. He offered water, and she drank, hands trembling. He cooked beans, urging her to eat slowly. "Stay in bed till you're steady," he said. She nodded slightly. Luke kept to his routine, splitting wood, checking fences, patching the lean-to. Each time he entered, she sat straighter, watching him. By afternoon, she stood, swaying but crossing to clean the stove's ashes. Luke said nothing, but relief settled in his chest. Later, she swept the floor and heated the kettle. "You don't owe me," he said quietly. Her English was halting but clear. "I stay. I work." He nodded, leaving it at that. That evening, he studied the sign's carved letters. Tomorrow, he'd ride to Bitter Hollow for answers. He made his bedroll by the stove, her breathing steady on the cot. The fire crackled, and he closed his eyes, rifle close. Dawn came pale, frost on the barrel. Luke saddled the mule, tucking the sign in his coat. He nodded toward the trail, and she watched him leave, arms folded in his borrowed shirt. Bitter Hollow's dirt street held a saloon, store, and blacksmith. Luke entered the general store, setting the sign on the counter. "Need this read," he said. The keeper frowned, calling an old Mexican trader. The trader squinted, lips moving. "Says Barren," he said. "Means she can't have children. Some leave women like that to die." The words hit hard. Luke took the sign, ignoring the keeper's question about where he found her. Word spread fast. Ranch hands eyed him as he bought supplies. On the road home, hoofbeats followed. The deputy and two hands rode up. "Heard you brought someone from the flats," the deputy said. "She's cursed," a hand spat. "Bad luck." Luke's grip tightened. "She's not your concern." The deputy warned of trouble, but Luke's voice stayed flat. "Folks can stay off my land." They rode off, leaving him in the dust. Back at the cabin, Sanaa stood by the woodpile, reading his tension. Inside, he set the sign down. She looked at it, jaw tight. "It says Barren," he said. She turned it face down, saying, "No. Leave." He nodded, respecting her choice. That night, the air felt heavy. Luke stayed awake, listening for hoofbeats, rifle ready. A storm rolled in, wind rattling the shutters. Hoofbeats came, then a shout. "Carrion! Open up!" Sanaa stiffened. Luke signaled her back, grabbing the rifle. "She's not leaving," he called through the door. The deputy and hands stood in the snow, demanding her. Luke opened the door a crack, rifle visible. "You're not taking her." The storm forced them back, but the deputy warned, "This ain't done." Luke barred the door, meeting Sanaa's eyes. "They'll come again," she said. "Let them," he replied, carving juniper by the fire. By dawn, the storm passed, snow blanketing the ground. Luke hung a carved plaque over the door, "Carrion." Sanaa touched it, a quiet shift in her face. Over 3 days, she worked, sweeping, cooking, finding a rhythm with Luke. One evening, he mended her torn dress, stitching carefully. "Why?" she asked. "It's yours," he said. She nodded, shyly. The next day, she stitched Sanaa on muslin, handing it to him. He tucked it in his pocket, nodding. Her hand brushed his shoulder later, the air shifting. Luke touched the carrion plaque, catching her gaze. No words were needed. By mid-February, snow thinned. Sanaa, stronger now, sorted seeds for planting. One morning, she stood pale by the stove. "Bleeding came," she said. Luke understood, the signs lie. "We'll see the midwife in town," he said. In Bitter Hollow, the midwife confirmed Sanaa's health. Luke exhaled, tension easing. Sanaa's eyes held pride. Back home, she tucked the sign away. They planted a garden, turning soft earth. Luke began carving a cradle. "What you make?" Sanaa asked. "Cradle," he said. She nodded, staying close as he worked. That night, she touched the carrion plaque. Luke carved Sanaa on a new one, hanging it beside his. "Now I stay," she said. "Good," he replied. They finished the cradle, Sanaa tying her embroidered cloth to it. Luke mended fences, glancing at her in the doorway, her gaze steady. At supper, he took her hand. "You're safe here," he said. "I know," she answered. That night, they sat together on the cot, the cradle by the fire. The wind carried spring, and Luke felt the weight lift. Sanaa wasn't just surviving, she was home.